Thank you for checking out the Media Marketing Podcast, a place where you can learn all things media and marketing related. Don't miss a beat in boosting your business and your brand. In each episode, you'll gain valuable insights, tools, and strategies to apply to your marketing efforts. And now your host, Brian Cargill.
All right, here we are at Heart Cafe in Portland. We're on the east side, and I'm joined with Brandy Henry. Brandy Henry is a teacher at heart who wants to help business owners get the heart of their message out on social media. She wants you to play big and stand apart. A successful business strives to help people solve problems. That desire is fueled by the owner's values and the needs to be heard. Brandy helps you do that on social media. Thank you so much for joining me today, Brandy.
Yeah,
Thank
you for having me, Brian. I'm tickled. Thank you.
Yeah, no, this is great. We met at Toastmasters.
Right.
I walked in, I was taking photos, and I stumbled in, and you were doing a social media seminar.
Right.
And you had people all across the board that had no idea what social media was, to maybe some people that have posted a couple things.
Yeah.
But I think we generated some really good discussions about how to use each platform.
Right.
And some of the nuances that go with that,
Yeah.
and a lot of people, I think, want a one-size-fits-all, and that's not usually the case.
It's not the case, and there's no exact formula. And yeah, that was a really great talk or seminar, a group of people, and it was really kind of you to take pictures and send those to me later. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. No, it was my pleasure, and if you need anything in the future, I'm happy to help.
That's right, yeah, that'd be great.
But today, we're talking about, I think the audience here is kind of social media. Maybe they're doing it, but it's falling flat.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't even know where to begin. Or they're doing social media and it's not really, they're not getting the results that they'd like to see.
Yeah.
And we were just talking before we got into this about taglines, and maybe you can talk about like your typical client and how you're able to help them.
Right. So typically if I start with a client and they go through my usual process, and that's where, we've decided that we can help each other. They've decided to work with me and I realize I can help them. Then we sit down together and I ask them just to brain dump, like barf out everything in your head, your frustrations, what's working, what's not working, where you want things to go. And then I do a little interview, like, why did you get into your business? How is it you love to help people that you see others don't do it? What frustrates you about others in your industry when they don't do X, Y, or Z? And usually with all of that information, I hear the heart of why they do what they do. Sometimes they haven't realized it and I've written it down, and I certainly don't stop them. I just want them to keep going, and I've written down the heart of their message. And for example, one gentleman I'm helping who is an IT guy, and he considers himself really nerdy, and it's really a lot of me pulling out of him that he's a great guy and he has something to say and it's valuable. And he was just kind of frustrated at one point, and just letting me know where he's at. And he said, I just want to help people with IT who give a damn about it. And I was like, bingo. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's his tagline.
Yeah. It's emotional, it's catchy.
Exactly.
And it's unique.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so most people, just letting them talk and encouraging them to talk, I can hear in them what it is that they love about their work. And that's what we're going to bring to social media. That's what we're going to make content out of. And another thing I often start with clients is pause and make sure they understand the difference between putting content out in the world and paying for ads, and that's marketing. I don't do ads. I mean, I pay for my own ads, but I don't have the expertise to teach someone else how to do ads. That's another skill set. What I help people do is define their message and put out content. And what content is bits of free information that allow people to know, like, and trust you over time. It's a longer runway, which is a little disappointing and a little frustrating, but it is a platform. There's a lot of platforms out there. It's an opportunity for free to put things out in the world that allow people to learn from you, to figure out that you know what you say you know, to see what it's like to work with you. And that's really valuable, and you can do all that for free on social media.
I know.
We as humans have never had that kind of access, ever.
I know, yeah. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, we live in a really great time.
Yeah.
With the gatekeepers from a while ago, you would have had to pay a pretty penny to even have anyone know who you were.
Right.
And now you have access to that.
Yep.
I think there's a lot there. I kind of want to unpackage all of it. Maybe
Slow down,
talking about no, that's great. No, perfect. I think people are going to get a lot of great value out of that. Talking about kind of the heart, and then I think it's a little bit like digesting the branding behind organizations, and then the channels that are available to us today. Maybe just kind of bringing it all the way back to the beginning, the heart.
Yes.
I think that's so great. It's something visual, something that people can wrap their heads around.
Yeah.
Where did that all come from for you? Like, what got you excited about doing this in the first place?
Well, my background is in guidance and counseling and teaching. And so when I was either teaching workshops or I had students in my office, higher ed, so adult students in my office, I was really helping them figure out what they wanted or what went wrong if they were in my office for an unfortunate matter, or helping them figure out where they wanted to go or how to solve a problem. And it was a lot of listening. And oftentimes, they were solving their problem while I talked to them. And I just helped them realize it. Or I gave them permission to maybe not go into medicine even though mom and dad wanted you to. Or how to get along better with your roommate. Or all the nuances of typical college life. And that's where I learned that I love doing that. And then fast forward a decade or so, and social media, is more prolific, and I fell in love with Instagram, and I enjoy using it. And then I decided to stay home and homeschool my boys because one of them has special needs. And what I was doing was teaching my friends, both in person and my online, or what my kids would call my Instagram friends, how to use the platform and how to show up and how to do lives and how to do these things. And it wasn't that hard. It was just a matter of encouraging them and showing them. And then I decided I want to make some money at this. And that's where the business was born a couple years ago.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's great. I'm happy that you're having good success and that you're able to help people make a difference. And it seems like it's kind of a natural fit for like kind of how things moved along with your background and being able to understand people and understand their needs and maybe hold up a mirror to say, because for a lot of these business owners, they're in the day-to-day, they're doing, they're working hard, they're networking, they're doing sales, but they're not actually taking a step back and saying, oh, what is it that we're actually doing? How are we helping people? What makes us unique? And that's
exactly
where you're able to kind of take a step back, hold the mirror up, and say, hey, you guys are doing some really great stuff.
Right.
Let's identify that and let's be able to go to market and let other people know what great things that you're doing.
Exactly.
No, that's awesome.
Well, thanks.
And then being able to teach other people, that's a whole another skill in and of itself too. And so that's great that you're kind of able to bring those two worlds together.
Well, thank you. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's awesome. And so you talked about Instagram. Maybe we can jump right in there.
Right.
Free platform.
Free.
You can do some paid stuff, but I think I'm with you. I like the organic content style of doing things where there are these paid things which you're going to get some like short-term results.
Right.
But I like the long game, which I think is what us marketers struggle with.
Right.
Is saying, okay, you're not going to get results tomorrow or the next day, but in a year from now, people are going to know your brand. They're going to know what you stand for. 2 years from now, 5 years from now, you're going to have all these little bits and pieces that are working together.
Yes.
Your content house. For,
exactly. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. I might use that now.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, little bricks of content.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So I guess Instagram. I guess we could talk about like the main ones, which are like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Let's just do those. So what makes Instagram a little bit different than those ones?
Yeah, so Instagram is kind of your sensitive child.
Yeah.
It's the artistic kid, it's the artistic person. It is much more in tune with how people are being supportive or not. So when we put a picture up out in the world on Instagram, that's a vulnerable thing to do. We're saying, hey, we liked this moment and this image, and now we're asking other people to engage with them. And that's definitely, it's tough. And most of the interaction on Instagram is positive. It's more of an uplifting platform. It's more respectful of the fact that a lot of people are artists, and that's where the platform started, with photographers supporting each other and sharing tips and saying, hey, that was a great image, how did you do that? And then the rest of us jumped in and took it over, and
well, like any platform.
Like any platform. But that culture has still continued. And what I love about Instagram is the simplicity. You either find out somebody liked it or a comment, for the most part. You know where your messages are. It's a simpler beast, so to speak, than many other platforms. And I love that simplicity, but with that simplicity comes harder to grow, harder to build that platform, and a higher demand on that image. That image needs to be good. It just does.
Yep.
That's the platform. And that's both exciting and fun, but it can also be, maybe not the right fit for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, very visual. And I think even for like the ranking system, like the algorithms, like there's not as much text to be able to like filter what is good, what's not.
Yep.
And then we had talked about that they're even changing the system completely, where they're not going to show likes maybe eventually here pretty soon. So then the vanity metrics maybe move away.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for a lot of us, whatever the platform, we can get stuck not putting things out because we think too much about all of those changes that are coming. Well, you got to jump in. Traffic laws change, tools change, things change, but you still got to jump in and learn where you are.
So what, I guess, so there's like a big confidence thing there. Like people are afraid to put stuff out there. Where do you think that stems from? I know, I work in the video world, and people are very hesitant to go on video because, once you record it, it's there forever. And it's like you want to show your best face, so at all times. What are some of the things that you find with your clients before they post on Instagram?
Right.
Yeah.
What I want them to think about is, how is what they're putting out there helping somebody else? Think about them, not how much you're comparing yourself to other people. We gotta let that go. Your focus is on, hey, I have some good information or some wisdom or ways of thinking about something that could help people.
Yeah.
And let everybody else filter themselves. Your audience will find you, your audience will resonate with you. You don't need to worry about that. You come out and think about being helpful and clear and encouraging with what it is that you know and want to help the world do. And let your audience find it, find you, find if they're for you or not or whatever. Don't worry about that. You get your message out and think about being helpful to the world.
Yeah, no, I think that's great, and I think getting people over the hump of not everyone's going to like you, which is actually a good thing. And a lot of people think of it as a negative because obviously, survival instinct. You want everyone to like you so that way you can survive in the greater tribe. But we're in the 21st century. We're not getting eaten by lions and tigers anymore. So, I think it's great. Being vanilla doesn't stand out.
No, it doesn't. And the other thing that's really cool about it is, yes, we used to have to worry about our immediate village or the immediate town or the immediate city liking us and the people within that. My audience is potentially global. If my neighbor doesn't like me, so be it. There might be somebody in Arizona who thinks I'm great. Or I have a couple people that listen to me in India and New Zealand. Fantastic. So if this other business or person or whomever is in your head you're worried about doesn't like you, so what? There's 7 billion other possibilities.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is so awesome.
I know, that's awesome. And not everyone is your audience, depending on what your product is. And
exactly.
I think that's great. Have you had to push through some of that, flack and maybe with your clients or personally?
Oh, for sure. I get trollers, I get images that are inappropriate sent to me. I get it all. And it's just part of, like, if you decide to drive a car, you're going to deal with bad drivers, right? Or it's all part of getting out there and just focus on the fact that you want to help other people with what you know, and that's where it is.
Yeah, that's great. So I think, we started on Instagram. Would you say that like that's a good platform for people to like start with to get their feet wet? And,
Sure.
And then if so, what would be like a good first piece of content, or like first? Do you have like buckets of content that you kind of define for your clients?
A little bit. I do. For very brand new people, I like them to think of it as a 3-part pattern. One piece of content that is the most excellent information you can offer on what you know. Whether that's video or an image and then you write below it, it's the best about what you know and really helpful to other people. The other third is just something fun that shows off your personality. I love nerdy science and math jokes. Like, I love them so much. And I like to post them, and that's just me having fun. I call those kind of a weekend post. And then your other third is something that just kind of happened in your day, or you found interesting, or with your family or a friend, and where you're letting people in a little bit into your life to get to know you, but maybe not too personal. Like, my kids don't want to be on they won't let me, and I will honor that. I don't like it.
Yeah, that'll be the great dilemma of the 21st century. Parents, oh, Mom, don't post this, now I'm not cool anymore.
Exactly, yeah, totally. Oh, and so that's what I usually start off with clients, is that 3-part pattern. And then they can, put things into those categories. They can think, okay, where am I? And it builds the confidence and gets them going. And it's just fun to watch them grow.
Yeah, and they start to see results from that, whether that's a new business connection or, you get some likes, and then I know for some people and some groups, the amount of likes you have really does give you some credibility if you want to be a speaker, or if you want to, it gives you some validity behind your product.
Yep.
So there's only good things that can come of it, and like we said, it's free.
Yes.
So I think that's great.
It's free.
And so that's awesome, kind of explaining like their thought leadership, the best content that they can. For someone that's just starting out, do you give them like a little wiggle room to try some things?
Oh, of course.
And I think a lot of people forget that you can always archive or take down a post.
Exactly, and I've done that for sure.
Yeah, I just recently did that like a couple months ago, like just archived all the things that weren't really supporting my brand anymore, or maybe my, I'm trying to get a little bit more focused on what my message is.
You're very good. Brian, you have such consistency in all your branding, on all the platforms, on everywhere. It's like, I want to be like you when I like sit down and really focus on cleaning up each and every place that I show up on. There's a lot out there, and it's tough to do, but I can see that you were disciplined enough to sit down and do it, and I commend you for it.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I think it just a matter of taking the time, and then making sure that you have alignment between your brand colors, your logo, the look and feel.
Profile picture.
Yeah, profile picture too. Yeah, a lot of people, can you actually see the person? Right. Like, is it all dark? Right. Is it nice and bright? Are you showing yourself in the best light? Because that's the first thing that people see is a profile photo, right? Yeah, and having the same one on every single place that you show up digitally is really important. So it's just instant. Oh yeah, same person, instant. Yeah, that's great. So kind of about Instagram. So have people start with that 3-part package. But then can you apply that to the other platforms? I think that's what we were running into with that big group discussion. Yes. It's like, well, can't I? It has that function where I can just like hit the little widget, and then I can go on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter all at the same time. Can I just do that? Right. Well, that's like kind of laziness, right? It is, and every platform has a different language, and it's a little bit of a bummer to hear, but don't push through posts that don't speak the language of the platform. Instagram, we want people to go to our profile. That doesn't translate onto Facebook. It doesn't translate well on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, people are busy. They want the information delivered and the link right there. Don't ask them to go 2 or 3 steps in. And it does matter. It matters. You can say the same thing, but speak the language of that platform, just like you would speak different languages. If you knew 4 or 5 languages and you had to say the same thing over and over, you would speak it in that language so that audience and that platform and that group could hear you. Yeah, no, I think that's great. Yeah, kind of catering the message. Yeah, because like Instagram I mean, I think it's starting to change a little bit, but it's hashtag heavy.
It is.
Whereas Twitter, you do that now, people think you're spam.
Yeah.
And whereas a couple years ago, maybe you did have a lot of hashtags to get that searchability. LinkedIn and Facebook are kind of mixed bag. I think they both have hashtag functions, but it's a little weird to do it.
It is a little weird to do it, and I'm not quite sure that the effectiveness is worth the space you're asking somebody to scroll past. So yeah.
Yeah, and you don't want to be spam. You want because there's a lot of other people, so being different. I think it'd be fun to kind of talk about LinkedIn, just because I know that's the big buzz thing lately, which is wild because it's pretty much the corporate Facebook, in my opinion. People are going to it. At my old job, they outlawed everything, but LinkedIn was free game. So what did people, when you walked by, what were people on? LinkedIn, because they're working.
Right.
They're building their network.
I love that.
Or they're just watching. Now people are posting, corporate cat videos on there now. At the
I love
end
that.
of the day, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, LinkedIn's a great platform. It's, like you said, it's one that often people are allowed to get onto while they're at work. But it also needs to really, really prove it. You need to prove yourself quickly. How are you going to help somebody improve their career skills or make more money or form a collaboration? That's really what people are looking for on LinkedIn. They're definitely going to go look at your profile and see what you're about, and they're going to kind of dig into what you have to say. For the most part, you really need to be clear, and I've pulled back on LinkedIn for a few months while I really get clear on what I'm going to put there. And I'm glad I did, and that's okay to do with platforms. If you realize like something just isn't jiving, take a break.
A big thank you to our sponsors over at songtub.com. That's right, song or music and a tub, like a bath, but more fun to say. Tub. Anyway, you can check out Songtub's website for any of your music needs. In fact, the song playing in the background right now is from Songtub. So why pick them over anyone else? Well, they curate the music. And I know the guys, so that means I know that they're selecting great music for your project. A lot of other companies will brag about how many songs they have, maybe 100,000, 200,000, maybe even 1 million. But honestly, I don't have time for that. I don't have the time to just sit down and go next, a song not so great, trying to figure out where the best music is. Songtub.com, great place to get your music, and now I'm excited to offer you the first month for free if you go to songtub.com/pro, P-R-O, and we have a promo code for you. Yes, that's right, my name, your host, Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, and that will give you your first month free to have access to a huge music library that you can use towards your next video project, podcast, or any of your general audio needs. Anyway, back to the show.
Do some homework and then come back. And that's what I've done with LinkedIn, and I'm ready to start again. Probably this weekend I'll put up my first article.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I think that's great. And like taking a step back, because I think everyone's always pushing like consistency.
Yeah.
If you're not posting, you're dying, you know?
Right.
And so, but it's exhausting. And maybe you're throwing out all this content that you're like, this doesn't really feel as good as it used to.
Yeah.
And the thing with LinkedIn, you're posting something, it's going to get seen.
It is.
By a lot of people.
A lot of people.
So you want to really make sure that is dialed in. I'm the same way. I've pushed hard on Instagram. I'm starting to get back into Twitter. Facebook I use in a different mode, not really my face, but it's the brand that I'm pushing. But LinkedIn, I'm waiting till I kind of have some other things ducks in a row, because posting content, you kind of want to send people somewhere.
Yes.
Like have a call to action. So are they going to your website and learning more about you? Are they going to go to your YouTube channel? Or are they going to listen to your podcast? So you're kind of in that camp too. Kind of make sure you have your ducks in a row before going too heavy.
Yeah, for sure. And so the route I'm going to do now is I've taken my podcast episodes, turned those into transcripts, and now I'm in a position where I can hire an assistant content editor, and I have her turn that into a blog or article post.
Nice.
And that will go a little bit more refined by me, and then it'll go onto a LinkedIn article. And that's the direction I'm going. And I'll try that there for a while, and we'll see.
No, that's great. And you're repurposing things.
Yes.
I think that's a great kind of segue because, you're taking something that's a pillar content,
Yes.
which is a long form podcast or a seminar or a speech.
Yep.
And then, you're using the transcription. Are you hand transcribing it?
No, I use Otter AI.
Okay.
So it's OTTER.ai.
Okay.
And you can have for free 600 minutes a month transcribed for you.
Wow.
And it does a good job. In I think it's 7 minutes. It transcribes a half-hour podcast for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's definitely rough. Instead of the word present, I get president, or, they're pretty obvious. And go ahead.
But no, that's great because it saves you hours of time.
Absolutely.
I did transcription right as I got out of school, and something that was an hour-long interview took me about 3.5, 4 hours to transcribe.
Right.
So having a computer that can cut that time down, and then you're just glancing through and picking up word errors, that sounds great.
Yeah. So then I take it, and then, I open it up on Otter, Control A to get it all, Control C to copy it, Google Doc, Control V, move it over, and then I'm cutting out a lot. The article will not have my podcast intro. It won't have some of the more fun things I'll do in the video. There's certain sections that I know I'll just cut.
Yeah.
And but man, that for 600 minutes a month.
Yeah, that's great. I knew of one. It was called Trent.com, but this sounds nice. If it's 600, they have that much free. I think they gave away not 600 minutes. It was maybe an hour at most.
Yeah.
They gave away free, and it's a computer algorithm
Nice.
company out of England. But
cool.
No, that's great. Okay, so then you kind of. And what I like to do is kind of test them. So if a blog does, if a podcast does really well, maybe you do more podcasts that are within that vein
nice.
of topics.
Yeah.
If a blog does really well, you can kind of keep building upon that. So you're just kind of testing it every step of the way.
Right.
And then I'm sure you break that down even into different social content. So then you're just promoting the podcast. And then if people don't have time to listen, then they can read, just giving them the information in different forms.
Exactly. Your audience will tell you what is resonating with them.
Yeah.
And the nerdier I let myself be resonates with my audience. And I kind of tested that water. I got the sense of it, and then I really dove into all the math, and I did a episode on traction, and I used the physics definition.
That's awesome.
And went from there.
Wait, what's the physics definition? E equals MC squared. Broke that down into
So I took the physics definition and defined it, and then I took how the business definition of traction really comes from the physics definition. And then now what we call traction on content in social media is coming from the business, which came from, and so I just kind of have fun,
That's so meta.
Thank you. So it was fun. If you're a car and it's wet outside, your tires might spin a little, but you'll get going.
Yeah.
All of that. So it was just fun. And your audience will let you know what it likes, like you said, what is resonating with them, but they're letting you know also when you're coming across most authentically, when they sense that's most you. And that matters too. They're letting you know that they can tell if you're trying to fake it or you're trying to be somebody you're not. And that's those kind of nuances that you get and figure out over time, but your analytics will tell you. Like you said, the blog that does really well, they're not only interested in that information, but the way that you said it or the way that you wrote it, well, that's the same thing. The way that your voice was in it is what they're telling you was genuine to them.
Yeah, which I think is humbling. I think that's the
Really?
word of the day is
Totally.
humbling, because
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say this. They thought one post was going to do really well.
Yeah.
They didn't. The post that they didn't think it was going to do really well did.
Yes.
And so you really kind of get pretty confused. But
Yes.
figuring out what the audience likes,
Yes.
what the market wants to see for all the business types out there, and doubling down on what works. Right.
Exactly.
So no, I think that's great. And then I love it's a unique space where it's so much information. So someone that does have a science background does get to have a conversation with a business person, does get to have a conversation with a marketing person, all in this communal space where to make that possible all across the nation, across the world.
Right.
I mean, we'd all have to fly together for a conference.
Exactly.
But now you can just send it instantaneously from your bed.
It's brilliant, and I want more and more people to appreciate that.
Yeah.
A lot of us, when we think of social media, we think of like all the bitterness or the politics or the fighting or the infighting. And I have 2 points to that. One, show up and ignore it all and deliver something worthy of being out there for free. And if somebody is telling you that the only thing they see on social media is about politics, well, that's because that's all they're engaging with, and algorithms will feed you more of what you engage in. So if they're whining a lot about all of it being politics and yelling and screaming, well, they're also telling you that's what they participate in. And you have to be the bigger person and not participate and not go there and focus on your message and focus on what's positive out there. And it takes discipline, and it takes being, a little bit more mature than the common denominator.
So you're saying that if you go on there and you're saying, hey, this post offends me, you write that in the comments, you're just going to get more content that shows the things that are offending you. So don't engage.
Well said. You said that.
And you can turn off the notifications. You can change your filters.
Totally.
And I like how you're saying, like, kind of bring to the forefront like the knowledge and expertise that you do have and share that with others, which I think is the younger generation has no problem doing that.
Right.
Even though they don't have the knowledge, experience, or expertise, they have no problem. I'm guilty of this too. Just acting as if you do know it and sharing that knowledge. Whereas the people that really do know it, the older generation, they're hesitant.
They are.
And I would imagine that's some of your clientele as you're trying to work with them to say, hey, you guys you have this knowledge and expertise. Share that.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's my passion. Oftentimes what I'll joke and say is there is no button on Instagram that will explode your phone. There's nothing undoable. And oftentimes that's why they've seen their kids or grandkids or nieces and nephews get to know something really well, because they're not afraid to press any of the buttons and see what it does, right? And so if I can help them pass those bits and help them use what they know and get comfortable with to start, that's so exciting for me.
That's awesome.
I will say, like Generation Z, I love the sense of humor. Oh my gosh, the TikTok videos I think are fantastic.
Oh man, I know. I can't believe this. We'll see what happens with those.
I know.
Because TikTok is similar with like Vine. And it will. I think it's still that bell curve is still on the upwards trajectory. Because I posted some videos on there that I didn't even, I'm kind of breaking the rule of like I was lazy and I just said, hey, I'm just going to see what happens. Just copy and paste a video that I made for another platform. I think for Instagram, just copy and paste it on the TikTok. And within a couple days, both videos got a couple hundred views, and I didn't do anything. So like that's visibility,
it is
traction, and it's free.
And it's learning.
So,
you're learning. You're kind of like, okay, I see this platform. Maybe it's going to stick around. Maybe it won't. But at least I'm figuring it out now and massaging my message for a different audience. It's all just
It's a learning process, and being and having patience.
It is having patience.
I think people kind of want results like in a month, or like they want to do one post and then they're done. They're like, okay, I did my post for the year, and let's see what happens.
Exactly.
And you see organizations that do that. They set up their account, they post, and I think we were talking about this at Toastmasters. A lot of these Toastmasters groups fall guilty of this too. They'll create an account, they'll post like one group photo, and then there's no interaction or anything, and you look back at the date and you're like, oh, that says 2014. What have they been doing the last 6 years now?
Or they're not checking their messages or...
Exactly. So being kind of present and staying kind of consistent. Do you have any tips? I think I would imagine the things that hold people back is one, maybe they think it's hard, and two, it's just one more thing to manage.
That's really true. And just like anything else in our lives, when we're learning something new, there's that awkward uphill kind of figure it out. But most of us end up systematizing things once we figure it out. Our morning routine is a system. The way we put the dishes away is a system. the way we get into
Which
our
my
car.
fiance doesn't love that. I'm still working on that system.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. The way, there's so many things, like once, it was hard, but now you get in your car and you have a system for how you settle in and get going. At 15 and a half, that was a big deal. Just like that with content, it will become more comfortable. It will become more second nature, but if you don't start, it never will.
Yeah, and I think that's great. I think that's a great example with the car, because now you can get a car and you get to your destination and you have no idea what even happened the entire time. And so that can probably be similar with social media. You post all these things along the way, and then in a year from now, you're like, whoa, how did I get all these followers? Like, how did I get all this traction and interactions? So,
yep, exactly.
No, I think that's great. Yeah, I think, so one of the other topics we were going to bring up was personal social media versus like professional.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still trying to find maybe this can be a little bit of consultation as well. Finding that because there is a difference between them, or maybe you merge them together. What have you seen as like something where should someone, create an account specifically for all the professional activities that they have? Should they have an account just for their personal life? Should they hide behind a brand or a logo? What are your thoughts there?
I've had, generally speaking, I prefer my clients have one account per platform and make that a business account, because you are your brand. The way you either sell real estate, or the way that you help somebody with their taxes, or the way that you whatever is part of who you are. You bring who you are to that. And I really encourage them to have just the one and let people in a little bit into their lives to where they're comfortable. I've had one really good objection to that, and it's somebody who's looking to sell her business moving forward. So she only wants the business image forward, the logo. She doesn't want her image there. I could go either way on that one. I would still rather it be her, because somebody ultimately is buying her business. But I also understand where she's coming from and where her comfort level is right now with this platform that she wants to show up on, and I get it. And that's where her and her business and the person I've trained to do what she wants, where they're at. And maybe that over time, with comfort and experience, could change. We'll see. But that forefront of she knows she's going to sell this in a couple of years, I see how that changes.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And say she sells the business and that kind of gives off all the copyrights. If she's still been working on her own brand, she can get speaking gigs.
You're
or when she goes to find a new business partner, they say they can learn a little bit more about her along the way. So yeah, it's kind of a tricky thing there, but at the end of the day, you need to still do some kind of promotion for your business. And even, I find like even a little like Instagram story or something like that, even if you get 10, 15 people to interact, they're going to go over to your website, and that's 5 new people on your website that weren't going to do it otherwise, and you did it for free. You didn't have to pay, $5, 10, 15 bucks on an advertisement.
I almost fell over one day when I found out that most dentists spend 15 grand every time they send out one of those postcards to a couple of neighborhoods. I was like, what?
Yeah, and most people, what do they do when they get them? Put it in the trash.
I have a dentist I like.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Or I'm going to ask a friend. I'm not saying that doesn't work because I don't have the proof to say that. But at the same time, like, 15 grand. Holy gum.
I think it does work. I just think the return on what they're doing isn't as great. And then with the new generation, and people want to go, here we are in Portland, people want to go, green, that's more paper that you're using.
Right. Good point.
The logistics of sending it, when you could easily, create something online that has more permanency. It's going to be there for a long time. And, people can interact with it. So whatever you posted a year or two ago, they're going to be able to interact with that at a later time. It's just more of a two-way discussion than a mail thing.
And one of the nice things too, when you own a business with employees, you have your employees create the content essentially by sending you pictures, sending you things and it's so much easier for them to see the gems. Because when it's your own gig, it's harder to see the gems. And
a cactus knows how to survive. It can endure scorching heat, limited rainfall, and defends itself against critters daily. Your business is no different. To survive harsh conditions, it's important to develop deep roots using media content that'll continuously nourish and support your marketing efforts day after day. Tactus Media is here to help you determine a strategy and create media content. Together, let's map out the next sequence of videos, podcasts, and social media to help your business thrive. Work with Tactus Media. Media tactics that stick. Ouch! Visit tactusmedia.com to learn more.
I think that's great because you're talking about individuals versus corporations.
Yeah.
Like in a corporate setting, and have you worked with some individuals where you try to inspire everyone to be part of like this collaborative approach of everyone posting content?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a furniture store, and I was like, just let your employees be silly. Let them take funny pictures, like pretending to have dinner together at the new dining table that just came in. You know?
Yeah, that's great.
Just let them send you stuff. You decide what to post, but let them send you stuff.
Yeah. And if it's too funny, air quotation marks, you can always archive it or take it down at a later time. But try things out and
exactly.
Let them. Yeah, people want to know that your brand is a human, and that there's human beings behind this that are, that people have a sense of humor.
Right.
They, like to have fun. At the end of the day, you can always be, PR it and say, hey, apologize quickly if something does not go right.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. I've done that. I've taken things down when it's dawned on me 12 hours later that, oops.
Yeah, or you saw something in the corner, you're like, oh, I don't really, want that if it's like a beer can or something or whatever it might be. Like, oh, that's not really, and that's okay.
It is okay.
So,
yep.
Let's see. Oh yeah, we have here popularity contests. Do you have any ideas there? Because it gets a little bit like that. It brings us back to high school a little bit.
Doesn't it?
Who's got the most views or who looks the best? Any thoughts there? Like how to
we
approach
talked about that a little while ago when it comes to analytics. So you think of your likes, your profile visits, your clicks off the platform. Think about that as feedback, not as a popularity contest. And I like to give the example that when I do a weekendy post, that's just humor, or I love to make frittatas, those seem to go really well. Those do get a lot of likes, but nobody goes and checks out my business over it. Nobody goes to check out my podcast because I make a great egg dish. And so, that feels good because I get all these likes and it's fun, but it doesn't drive any traffic. When I do a post where I'm specifically asking people, like, hey, I just did a podcast on XYZ topic, I'd love for you to go check it out, that doesn't get as many likes. But if I get 20 profile visits out of that, where I know people have clicked over to check out the podcast, that's more important. And that looks less popular, but that is really what you're after as a business owner,
Definitely, kind of driving them, that call to action, and then. But I like that you're still posting personal things. I like to call those. I forget what you call them for your bucket, but I call them like culture posts. Like they're showcasing your culture, showcasing who you are, and I think having a kind of a well-rounded set of content, not everything's just like go to my website.
Right.
It becomes like kind of annoying and kind of like no one wants someone that's like begging them to do anything. You want it to feel good. You want to like creating value.
Yes, great value.
And then someone seeing you as a thought leader, and that's why they're going to your website.
That's right. Exactly. That's content. The other is yelling and screaming. Look at me.
Yeah. Which some people
that's what they
are doing that, and then what do? I just unfollow them kind of, pretty quickly if you're posting.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these platforms, there is like a little bit of a consistency to them. If you're posting, it varies from circumstance to circumstance, but for Instagram, you're posting, more than 3 photos a day. You can start to kind of blow up the feed a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But it depends if you're an individual versus a brand.
Yeah.
Some people want to hear from their brand. If you're a I'm trying to think. I think like beauty products, like people maybe want to hear beauty tips frequently, or if there's discount codes or contests going on.
Yeah.
People do want to hear more from it, so
yeah.
I think diving deeper, hiring someone like yourself to give people that feedback and letting them know the cadence is always nice.
Yeah.
I think we talked about pushing past the comfort zone of like finding that confidence. Digital networking, do you want to talk about?
Absolutely.
And you said you've been working with people all across the world, and that's only because of social media.
Right.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
How would you approach those kind of relationships?
Right. So I helped a power washer. This guy who does a certain skill set, but he has his way of protecting your property when you hire him. So he's not going to just like paint chips everywhere, clean your house, you know. I gave him his homework. Go follow every real estate agent in this area. Go follow every landscaper. Go follow every painter and engage with them a little bit. Just sit on your couch and start networking with potential referral partners.
Yeah.
And post to your local neighborhood high school. Engage with your neighborhood. I live in Happy Valley, and there's City of Happy Valley. There's Happy Valley Moms, you know. And I follow those, and I post to them, not all the time, but sometimes. And every neighborhood, even down to like the neighborhood we're in right now, in Portland, we have these like, you know, 2-3 square block neighborhoods. It's gonna have a hashtag. And you want to find out who's interacting on those, and you go and look at the hashtag, or you follow the people that are in your general field. Oftentimes what will happen is like, once I just had a conversation with somebody who is a car detailer, and they tend to each follow each other and try to outshine each other, like literally outshine each other, right? And
wax on, wax off.
Exactly. And it's like, well, that's great. It's encouraging, but it's not going to build any particular business. So, who's the people that come to you? Who can afford your service? Go follow the CPAs and the lawyers and engage with them. They're the ones that can afford to have you come spend $500 to make their car look fantastic. Mm-hmm. And that's part of that digital networking.
Yeah. And
be a person to these other persons. Encourage them. You can do that on your couch with your feet up and a giant bowl of popcorn once a week for 30 to 45 minutes, and not have to get up at 6 a.m. and go somewhere or stay up late to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, or having to venture out. I mean, eventually you do have to kind of build a relationship.
You do.
But I'm with you. I've found success there, and it does feel kind of like, it turns it from this fun platform that's like kind of helping you escape to actually like, okay, I gotta like make it work. But I'm starting to just now. I was doing that, maybe 3-4 months ago, and I'm just now starting to reap the rewards of that work that I put in.
Yep.
So it's kind of the slow process of where you go on and not only liking a handful of photos from one person and then following, but commenting and writing something thoughtful and actually creating discussion. And like if you do have thought leadership, bringing that to the forefront and trying to create value on someone else's post. And what's that going to do? Then people are going to jump from that post, especially if they're similar and they're looking for something similar. I don't call it stealing, but kind of piggybacking on what your competition is doing. And then you're able to bring followers over from that way. And then I liked what you said, where it's kind of that local community. So who are the other local groups? I went on and found PDX and started following all the folks that are PDX, and you can turn on notifications, so then you know what events are happening locally. Then you can attend. You can post like, hey, I'm looking forward to this. At the event, you can post things, and then after the event, you can say, hey, that was so great. And
you're
still
exactly
keep the interactions going.
And what you're doing is you're telling not only that person, but everybody else who sees you that you're a nice guy. You know how to do this skill, which you know videography, you know how to do it. But hey, it'd be nice to work with you too. And in a world where we can choose our doctor and dentist and every other professional based on their personality, it's good to let others see that you're already great to work with. And that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really, that's like kind of the beauty of it. Yeah, and I liked how you, like in some of these towns, like there is the only way you know about the dentist because that's what your family used, that's what your great grandparents used, or an accountant. I think that's a little bit more historical, kind of the legacy there. But now, the educated buyer, you're able to so make your decision through social media. Because you can do a Google search and you go to someone's website and they're going to be talking about themselves in a great light. But what does their social media say about them? What do other people on social media say about them?
Right, exactly.
That's why this is another topic, but like kind of the Yelp and the Google reviews, like that's a big part of your presence as well, making sure people have a good experience.
For sure, and that you respond to them all, either with a thank you or sometimes how do I make it right?
Yeah, what can you do to make it up to somebody? And, no, I think that's great because you talked about it earlier that social media is just showing more of who you are to a greater audience than just the people you interact with day to day.
Exactly.
Yeah, because like 20 years ago, it'd just be the people in this coffee shop.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't want to disturb them.
Right.
But I could post something about the coffee shop, and they can, at their own time, go on and see like, oh, I didn't know you posted this thing. And
Brilliant.
yeah, it's a little less abrasive. Yeah, this has been great, Brandy. Is there anything else? We talked about hashtags a little bit. We can maybe talk about those first steps for someone. What's really calling to you?
I actually feel that I want to highlight your work. I want people to know that if they're nervous about doing video, but they know it is what they need to be doing, hire somebody. Call Brian, hire him, have him help you with the first several videos, or you know how to do this. And if somebody is not doing it because they don't feel that they can do it well enough, go hire somebody, and then you can post it for free. And give Brian a call. He knows
well, thank you, Brandy.
Of course.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and part of what I do is, even just talking with someone, you can learn so much. You know, I always give people free advice about like equipment or best setup, and then even if they do hire me for video, I'm happy to like kind of coach them along the way too, because it's. I mean, people are always trying to, how can they save some money, and then like if they do want to create, man, that's really loud in the background, but I'll let that.
That's a very Portland sound.
That's a very Portland sound. Coffee roasters.
There we are.
But I know people want to create more and more content, so teaching people how to do that on their own is a big part of what I do as well. But no, I appreciate that.
For sure.
Yeah, video is a challenging thing, and podcasting as well, and photos. But like we were talking about, once you get the hang of it, it becomes less daunting, and you start doing a few, and you get the feedback from people. What do they want to see? What do they not want to see? And you keep just kind of catering to what the audience wants.
Right.
Yeah, this has been great, Brandy. We've been going to about 50 minutes here. We're at 8:30 in the morning, or it's when we kind of kicked it off. And no, this has been awesome. How can people kind of learn more about you and what you do and your coaching?
Thank you. I'd love for them to check out my podcast, Engaging on Social Media with Brandy Henry. I'd love for them to listen and get to know me a little bit more. And within that podcast, really it's about how do you show up and do it well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, and kind of demystifying this thing of social media, bringing the social aspect into it.
I agree.
No, that's great. And then, so I have people check out the podcast, website, social media handles. They're all Brandy Henry. Yeah,
Brandy W. Henry. And
cool.
I'd love to answer questions or have people listen. And
what's so have people listen to you, and then you. I guess not everyone is your target audience, but how can people get in touch with you? Do you want them to just email you or do a phone call? What's the first?
Yeah, you can email me at henry.brandy@gmail.com. And I'd love to hear from people. I will happily talk with them 20 minutes or so before deciding to work with me, making sure it's the right fit. And from there, we make sure they shine and that they can do it themselves.
That's awesome. Yeah, make sure they have a good experience. So that's awesome. Well, thank you, Brandy.
Thank you.
This has been fun here in Portland, Oregon in January. Good start to 2020.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, and looking forward to talking again soon.
That's right.
All right. Bye.
I want to say a big thanks for tuning into the Media Marketing Podcast. Please subscribe to get notifications for new episodes, which are coming out every Thursday morning, or at least we're striving for that. Feel free to visit our Facebook page where you can like and join the media marketing community. This is a good resource for collaborating, sharing ideas with other media creators, marketers, and those just looking to build their network. So until next time.